Can you imagine a man spending his hard-earned money training a girl in the school with the understanding that when that girl graduates, she's going to marry him? Or come to think of it, a woman rejecting all suitors that might have come her way with the understanding that when Stanley, my love, comes back, Stanley is going to propose to me and I will be married to Stanley. Only for the dying minute for her to receive an invitation card that Stanley is married to another woman. Only for her to see Okechukwu invitation card and propose her to marry another woman when she has lost a lot of suitors. In fact, she has kept her virginity. In fact, she has kept everything that is so precious for this man. And at this point, the Okechukwu Stanley disappointing Nkechi. What does the law say in this matter? In today's video, we are going to see what the law says when that precious lover of yours disappoints you. When that precious love of yours disappoints you, what does the law say in this scenario? That is what we are considering today. Join King's Advocate. Let us discover everything that concerns my boyfriend disappoint me, my girlfriend disappoint me, she refuses to marry me, and I'm here waiting. What does the law say? We are going to consider that in that video. Join this ride. Every blessed day, you see people crying, you see people wailing. In fact, you see people taking sniper to join their ancestor simply because their boyfriend, their potential suitor, their girlfriend disappoint them at the dying minute. Of course, by now, you should know that we are King's Advocate. You are not with emotional therapists. Neither are you with your pastor or your priest. Our major emphasis here is, what does the law say? Our major focus here is not about whether you should go to your priest or whether you should go to your pastor, or whether you should go to native doctor in order to do the other way around. We want to see what law says. We want to see the positions of the law as regards to whenever my potential boyfriend, my potential husband, my potential girlfriend disappoint me at dying minute. Is there any provisions for the law? Is there anything the law says as regards to this matter? Or should I just wait and watch? Or should I just go and die? Will this breakfast be softened for me? That is our major emphasis today. And this video, we are going to uncover everything the law says as regards to when your precious boyfriend or your girlfriend, that very Nkechi, that very Choma, that very Stanley, that very Taiwo that has broken your heart. Today we are going to mend that heart and see what the law says about that very matter. Let us break that law down. Basically, under the law as obtainable in the society, people are bound by their promise and people are meant to honor their promise. Man should keep their words. This is not just a biblical statement. It is something that applies to the law. Parties are bound by the agreement, meaning that all parties, all promises must be honored by the parties. That is what we call the law as peccata sunt servanda, meaning that all promises and agreements must be honored and kept. And in a situation whereby somebody or a party has breached an agreement, has breached to honor his promise, has breached to honor his sweet advice and sweet mouth, the law does not fold its hands to watch that very matter. And that will lead me to important understanding as we progress to this discussion. That is, marriage is a contract. Yes, learn it today. Marriage is a contract. Marriage is like a business transaction. Let me put it to you so that you will understand it very well. Marriage is like a business transaction, and in a business transaction, once there has been a valid agreement, it stands to be a contract. And in this case, we are discussing about breach of promise to marry. And in a situation whereby there has been a breach, in a situation whereby there has been a cut between that promise you made to me and that acceptance I made to that promise, that's the result of what we call breach of contract. And the court, in every situation whereby there has been a breach, we award a remedy. And even if there is no remedy for that, the court will create one. That was the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Nasiri Bello versus AG of Oyo State. That's your side. Now, I want you to understand that marriage is a contract. Yes, marriage is like a business transaction. In as much as, whether you like it or not, marriage is not just about you agreed or you didn't. It has to do with contract. The typical marriage is a contract, and any contract that is being breached, the necessary party has right to bring an action. In this case now, let us consider how it connects to my love breaches to marry me. Let us see how it connects to Nkechi refusing to marry me at that dying moment, or Stanley refusing to honor his invitation. What does the law say on this matter? Let us go deep into this very matter. Are you with me? I hope you are with me. Now, let us illustrate what we mean when we say that marriage is a contract. Because it is that thing that will answer this question. What can I do when my boyfriend refuses to marry me? Or what can I do when Nkechi refuses to marry me? At this point, when I have prepared everything, I will not leave him. I will not leave her. You are not going to leave her, because you are going to see what the law says today. Ride with me. Under the law of contracts, when there has been a valid exchange of promises, it automatically metamorphoses to contract. In this scenario now, how does you form a contract with your boyfriend? You form a contract if your boyfriend promises to you that I'm going to marry you. Please bear with me. As you can see now, the nation is hard. In fact, fuel is scarce and everything is turning apart. Please, Nkechi, my love, bear with me. I'm going to marry you. Let me go and hit it hard. Let me go and do what my mates are doing. In fact, I'm coming back with Lexus 350. Regular guys, you understand? I'm going to come back with this and I'm going to marry you. Just bear with me. And you, Nkechi, in your mercy, in your love, and you, Choma, in your understanding of Stanley, you said, okay, my love, you know what? I'm going to wait for you. For better, for worse, we are here. We die on this matter. And then you wait up patiently on Stanley, hoping that Stanley is going to marry you, hoping that your beloved is going to come back to you. Then Stanley made it. And now Stanley, God was with him and he has hit it so high. He's now a regular guy with Lexus 350. And he came back to serve the invitation card that is now getting ready to Choma. That is now getting ready to marry Choma. When he has promised you that he's going to do everything, that you should wait for him, that when he returns, he's going to change your life with a marriage invitation card. And now you don't know that it's going to be a negative way by serving you breakfast. My friend, that breakfast is not for you. The law is here and we are going to see to it. What does the law say? Because you have waited patiently for Stanley, possibly with your virginity if he's still there, and you have kept all these things for Stanley, all these goods for Stanley, and now Stanley has disappointed you, you have the right to maintain an action because there was a contract. What is the contract there? The contract there now is that Stanley made an offer to marry you. You accepted the offer to marry you. That is what you call the offer and acceptance. Now, a few more elements to go. For that to be contract, there must be a consideration. Consideration here doesn't mean please consider me. Consideration means here, consideration I am referring to here is the consideration whether you have kept something, you have suffered something, you have given something for that contract to stand. What did you give in this matter? I'm going to tell you what you gave on this matter. What you have given to Stanley on this matter is that you have kept your precious self, possibly rejecting all the Malians, all the suitors, all the Alhajis that have come your way to marry you. You were waiting patiently for Stanley, and now Stanley is talking another thing. Because Stanley is talking another thing now, you have the right to maintain an action. That is because you have furnished a consideration. In this case, your consideration is that your precious virginity, if it's still there, or that your precious time, or that everything you have bestowed, you have kept for Stanley. Rejecting every husband, and now you are clocking to 40, and no man is coming your way again. And that your Stanley is now saying another story, and you are now afraid that you are going to become Mary Magdalene or Mary. No problem. The law has a purpose for you, because you are not going to marry Jesus Christ. You are going to marry a man of your own, and that is what the video is all about. Let us proceed. Because you have furnished a consideration in this case, if Stanley refuses to marry you, you have the right to bring an action to the court. That's not all. Let us start. Let us go further. What about a situation whereby Stanley has trained you? Yes, you that is watching this video. Stanley has taken you to school. Okechukwu has spent everything buying you iPhone 16 Pro Max you are using to watch this video, or Redmi 12C or 13C or 14C, in fact 18C you are using to watch this video, and now you are talking rubbish. You are blowing hot and cold. You are saying the other way around. You are telling Stanley that, please, my lord, I cannot continue with this thing again. We are going to end this here. I don't know, you are looking so old. This was not you I left. In fact, I went to study in Oxford. You helped me to study. I came back seeing you rag. I came back seeing you dirty. I came back. You were a class. Look at me now. How can I marry you? How can I lose God to marry you? When you have forgotten that you have eaten so deep, in fact, you have eaten the fabrics of Stanley, and now Stanley is no longer a man because he has spent his entire business training you to school. Stanley has spent all the rims given to him by his creator in training you to school, and now you are saying that Stanley is rimp. And now you are saying that Stanley is dirty. And now you are saying that Stanley doesn't have, in fact, he doesn't match my capillary and cartilary and everything you think of. What the Lord says, the Lord will catch you. Now let us see what then could happen. How will you bring an action into the court? But before we go there, have you subscribed to my channel? Please, brother, uncle, my beloved aunt and friends, please subscribe to this channel. Big Daddy, subscribe. That is the only way YouTube will recommend more video like this to you. What our purpose here is to break the law in such a layman's street language, so that everybody will learn from the law. There is no need. Gone are the days when lawyer will be speaking grammar in the court. Gone are the days when the intricacies of the law are only kept secret. We want to bring everything to your understanding so that you begin to think like a lawyer. Subscribe to this channel. Have you done that? So we can proceed. Please subscribe. I thank you. I am happy because I heard that sound. You have done so. Thank you. Now let us proceed to the court. However, I want you to know that it's not all promises. It's not all things that can metamorphose to contracts. Just like in this case, we say that we have agreed that marriage is a contract. Now, it's not all promises to marry you that will metamorphose, that will catapult to be a valid contract, in this case, marriage contract. No, it doesn't just end with you saving that your love with my garden, my vegetable, my potato in frying pan, my everything, my onions in stew. That does not end here. It doesn't end here. For you to maintain an action, you must prove that there is a valid promise to marry. Promises to marry doesn't just end with that very fake promises. Does not mean that is not evidence you are going to provide before the court. You are going to tell the court that there is actually a promise to marry. In this case now, that is what I illustrated before. If Stanley has promises to you that if he made it, that if he makes it, that he's going to look for a greener pasture, and when he come back, he's going to marry you. You accepted, you waited patiently for him, and now he's back, he's forming bad guy. You can maintain an action. But if you are just looking up to Stanley as your Lord and personal savior simply because you hope that Stanley is going to marry you, not that Stanley said it with his own mouth, not that Stanley voiced it or in fact tested it is not enough. Whenever he tests it, please tag it and say, my love, are you the one that tests this message? I want to just confirm it from you. That is what is paramount. You have to prove. You have to adduce substantial evidence before the court to show that there was a valid promise. Once a valid promise has been proven to exist, you are validly, and nobody can take away that promise. And as far as law is concerned, the law will take its effect. And again, hear me out. For the fact that you people are in a relationship for long doesn't mean there is a valid promise to marry. Even if you people's relationship has lasted like that of the life of Methuselah, or your relationship, you people's relationship is even longer than that of Melchizedek in terms of spelling, that does not mean there is a valid contract to marry. There must be an express stating, or by that very party that you people are going to marry. Now, let us consider the elements. That is to say, what are you going to prove to the court? That is, let us consider some facts you have to prove, or the elements you have to adduce. Adduce means to show before the court, to simply tell the court there was a valid promise to marry. Our guide here is the decisions of Nikitobi. In the case of Ezenaya vs. Atta, Nikitobi JLC gave us a principle that guides Nigerian court as regard to the breach of promise to marry. That is to say, that case is the locus classicus. That case is the fulcrum upon which the court would draw its precedent from as far as is concerned breach of promise to marry. Let me take it down again. That case is the law we have now as regard to your love. That Stanley, that Nkechi that has disappointed you. There is no particular provisions in the Nigerian constitution that talks about your Nkechi and your Stanley. But the court has given a judgment on a particular case that has the same issue like this one we are seeing today. On a particular case that has to do with the issue of a boyfriend and a girlfriend having issue of breach of promise to marry. So that very case will be our guide as far as this thing is concerned. Number one element identified by Nikitobi JLC as then was the case of Ezenaya vs. Atta. He said, the erudite justice said, he illustrated and said that For you to go to the court, you have to show that there was a reasonable cause of an action. You have to show there was a valid promise between you and that your boyfriend. If, like I explained earlier in the beginning of this video, if that your Stanley has actually promised you and you accepted, there has been an offer, there has been an acceptance. One more thing remaining is the consideration. I said it's not about consider me. Consideration in law means something you have given or something you have suffered in return of that very promise. What you have given now is that your precious time, that your precious virginity, that your precious everything, rejecting all sweet, all allergy, all regular guys with Lexus 350. You rejected all of them, waiting for Stanley, and now Stanley is talking cock and book story. That is a consideration. And if you come to a lawyer like me, I'm going to take you there and we are going to see to it that even that your Stanley you are considering and taking is the village people, we are going to show him that village people has nothing to do with his head. It's only the court that will mandate him and he will do something needful. Now, that is the first thing you have to adjust before the court. You have to tell the court that there was a promise. If possible, bring that day. I know a promise like this is not even made. I don't even know where you are going to get the promise, because the promise like this is often made on an enjoyment season. This is the hardest evidence a lawyer could bring, because such a promise is made on a honey era. That a promise is made on a secret abode where you cannot even trace any. But if there is an evidence, you are going to adduce it to the court. In fact, once you can substantially prove that there was a promise, the court can look to the fact of that case and see if actually there was a promise. Then second element, you must show that there has been a breach. Do you understand? That is, you must show there has been actual breach. Then breach could be in two types. It could be actual breach. It could be speculative breach. That is anticipatory breach. Don't worry. That is a jargon for the legal student or for the lawyers. Let me break it down. It means you have to show there was actually a breach. That is, the breach has occurred. Stanley has refused to marry you. And in fact, as I'm speaking now, Stanley is with invitation card. And he's right before me. My breakfast is right before me. And my heart is moving up and down. In fact, I have not eaten for days because of what this guy has done to me. That is the actual breach. The breach has occurred already. I don't need Angel Gabriel, Angel Michael to announce it to me that Stanley is not going to marry me again. They play, they show. It's before my eye that Stanley is not want. In fact, Stanley is already progressing with his life, and I'm here. What does the law say? Again, you have to show whether it is anticipatory, speculative. If you can prove to the court, in this case now, Stanley is not talking. Stanley has not even. Yes, it's not in my front that Stanley and Nkechi is not ready to marry me. In fact, as I'm talking now, Nkechi has not been picking my call for days. Choma, I have not been hearing for Choma for days. And at this point now, like, it is obvious that this guy is not want to marry me. It is obvious that this girl is planning something else. Even though the invitation card is not before me, from all circumstances, it is true that this invitation is coming already, that this girl will not marry me. That, in this case, now what we call it in law is anticipatory breach. The breach is still coming, it's still loading. The breakfast is still boiling. Only for them they are coming with the cup to give you the hot breakfast. That is what we call in anticipatory breach. If it is anticipatory breach, the court, you can still go to the court. In this case now, there is no wedding yet. That they have not organized anything yet. But you are taking a proactive step because it is obvious that something is happening here. Something is fishy. That is now what is known as speculative or anticipatory breach. If you can prove to the court that, although, my lord, this man has not really disowned me, this man has not really served me breakfast, but my lord, from the whole fact of this case, look into this and see that Stanley and Choma is up to something. They want this person, he don't want to marry me. Though it has not occurred, but I can see it. He's no longer picking my call. He's no longer answering my text. The honey and my garden, he saved my name. In fact, he has changed it to Maria. And what I don't understand, what is going on? My lord, look into this. In this case now, the breach, though the Stanley has not taken the bold step of telling you or serving you with the breakfast, but he's almost done with it. He's cooking it and it's done. And in this case, you can go to the court to enforce your right of that there was a promise, that there was a breach of contract. Now, let us see what the court will do if you have proved to the court that there was a breach of contract. Of course, your book of lamentation will not just be taken for granted. Yes, that's why we have the balance of scale of justice. If the court can weigh side by side under the balance of probability that there was a valid promise and there was a breach, the court will take an action. Ubi just will be remedial. Where there is right, there is a remedy. Case of Nasiri Bezo vs. AG of Oyo State. The court will give you something. The court will do for you something. Let us see what the court is going to do. What does the law say? Let us. In fact, it is this thing now that made you to click on this video. What would the court do in a situation whereby there has been a breach of promise to marry? That is to say, that your Nkechi has refused to marry you. What would the court do? That's your Stanley, that's your Kechuku, that their Anife has refused to marry you. What would the court do in this situation? But permit me to break your heart small, just a small, to add to that breaking of heart. In fact, to add to that hot breakfast. The court will not enforce that marriage. But the court have something precious for you. Don't go. Wait, there is still a hope for you. If the court will not enforce that your love to marry you, the court will not enforce that you're popularly known as lover to marry you, because the court, just like Christianity, the court, just like Christianity, sees marriage as a valid instrument, see marriage as a sacred vessel, see marriage as something that is very sacred, that is not something that you can enforce. Ordinarily in law, whenever there is a breach, whenever there is a kind of refusal to do a particular thing, the court will order what is known as order of specific performance. It is an equitable remedy. That is the court. For instance, yes, let me use a relatable example. For instance, if that your landlord, Mr. Titus, that's your very landlord, just woke up one morning, you don't even know what was wrong with him, whether he had a terrible dream or whether he fought with his wife, and then he just woke up one morning and said, do you know, Mr. Man, you are leaving this building, and for the mercy I have, for the love I have for you, you are going to leave this building. By tomorrow morning, I just give you still have the whole day. Pack your things and go. You'll be like, what is going on? You go and check whether you have renewed your rent. You go to your destiny. In fact, you even discover that you paid rent last 2 weeks ago. And landlord has woke up and said that you should leave the house. What the court will do in this instance now, because I said marriage is a contract. That's why I'm giving you this story. Because just like a contract, why is it that this one is treated differently, not like normal contract? What the court will not just be like and say, well, since Mr. Titus has said that he's going to eject you out of the building, he has not ejected you. Now why are you here? Go and wait till he render you homeless. Then you can come to the court and complain. Then I can take an action. I can make an order. The judge is speaking to you now, or the lawyers are speaking to you now. What are you bothering us? Wait now, let them eject you. Let them pack you out of the house. Then you can come to us so we can do something. That was common law. That was how things was until when equity came in. What the court will do in this instance, that the court will not just say, fold your hands like this and be watching until Mr. Titus, that wicked man, will chase you out of the building. No, the court is going to order a specific performance. That is order of specific performance to that Mr. Titus. They will just take their pen, sign it, endorse it. Justice Kingsley, yes, endorsing it. Once that notice has been served to that very Titus, if Titus tries to inject you, if Titus tries to evacuate you, in fact, if Titus tries to cultivate you out of that house, the law will take its course on him, and very soon the police will scatter him. That is the law. Then in this case now, because it's a marriage, there is nothing like specific performance. They will not mandate Okechukwu to marry you. They will not mandate Choma to marry you. Neither will they mandate Almighty Nkechi to marry you. They will just not do it, because marriage is a sacred vessel. Marriage is not a day journey. Marriage is not a one-day journey. Before you marry, like now, I just wonder when I will marry, how it will be, because I will think, I will rethink, I will think. I will keep thinking until I become think big. I'm going to think. If marriage is not something you can just jump into and no now. Why will you feel tomorrow if the court said, you remember the court and see that it was this court that forced me to marry this kid? In fact, Kichi is going to even finish your life. Even if the court tells Kichi to marry you, Kichi is going to feel you. Kichi is going to scatter your life, because in this case, she's not marrying you with her heart. Nkechi is not contented with you forever, both perpetually, spiritually. In fact, even if Nkechi see you in your dream, she will still not be contented with you because you forced Nkechi on yourself. That's why the court will not do that. But the court has something precious for you. If that your breakfast is still hot, there is still a hope to mitigate it. What will the court do? The court will order what is known as damages. Yes, the court will going to award you damages. Damages not here. Damages are big one. That is where the court will going to check, okay, if this thing has occurred, what will we do to persuade you? What will we do to render this your heart that has been, in fact, pierced, to mend it so that it will become normal again? The court will calculate all the detriment you have suffered. The court will calculate everything you lose on top of Nkechi and give it to you. That is what the court will award you a monetary compensation. They are not bringing your love back, so go and look for another love. But the court will do something will help you to find another ebere that will have mercy to you and marry you. That is what the court is going to do. The court is going to give you hope and give you damage. Then what about the in-law? The mama, the grandma in the village preparing? Because sometimes, I don't know if you have seen, I've seen a situation whereby the groom or the bride has prepared everything. In fact, in this scenario now, the bride has prepared it. When I'm talking about bride refers to the woman, and then groom refers to the man. In this case now, bride, that is the beautiful lady, has prepared everything. In fact, she's on her attire with her ashobi, and everything was ready. The rice was being prepared, everything was ready, and then the groom refused to show up. What will happen to that very mother of that child, of that bride? What will that in-law do? Imagine a mother now. You know how mother can be. You know now they would have invited the whole village for this ceremony, and then you you refuse to come for that you refuse to come for that marriage. You refuse to honor your invitation of promise to marry, and you think that the court will just fold their hands and look at you after. No, the law has a provision for you. The law will not, I'm trying to tell you now that the law will not only award damages to you, the person that is being wronged. The law will also award damages to the family members if they have prepared to some of these things. And this is where the brilliance of a lawyer comes in, because if a brilliant lawyer represents you in this matter, oh God, it's your turn to Israel. There is going to be trouble. That is why they call us lawyers are liars. We are liars because they think, in this case now, as me being a lawyer, representing a party that has suffered this kind of humiliation, I will say that the bags of rice we have prepared for that, in fact, the yam we have bought for this marriage is 4.4 million. I will say that, in fact, the priest, the pastor, everybody, the church congregation that I had to attend to this weather, I bought their fuel. I fueled their car. Of course, you know how much a liter is now. I fueled their car. I did everything for them. And this man and this woman refused to show up for this wedding. He refused to honor this. And I can say that I spent 6.6 million. Yes, this is where the court will then come in. You see what I'm saying? Damages. That's where they call lawyers are liars, because we try them to, because we are going, of course, we are going to inflame the figure. Why do you bring the promise in the first place? Why? And you expect me to just say, hey, we spent 2,000. Who are you? You spent 50 million, and you are going to pay it. If we tender this evidence before the court and prove it, the court, my lord, in his utmost chamber of pride, will examine the evidence and under the balance of probability, check weight side by side, and then decide which damages is going to grant. Of course, it is not everything that I, as a lawyer, said the judge will take. Damages is discretion of the court. It's still within the choice of the judge. The judge can determine the quantum, the humongous, the level of, anything that can be considered as big that the court will award to that party that has suffered loss. The court will weigh it and then give the damages. This very thing I said now has a judicial backing. That is to say, it has been decided by the court. In the case of Peter Edison, Eweka, and the Midwest Newspaper Corporation, that the court is going to award damages depending on the circumstances of what you have suffered, or depending on the circumstances of each case. And now, let us consider the defense you can raise, because this definition, this discussion will not just end by telling you that you can institute an action. I have given you scenario you can institute an action, What about the defense? You that is watching me now, that is the person that actually had this breach. Because of course, you are not just refusing to marry. You were refusing to marry for a purpose. Stanley was refusing to marry Nkechi for a purpose. Nkechi on her own was also refusing to marry Stanley for a purpose. There was a reason. You are not a mad person. You have your sense. So if you have broke somebody's heart, you actually did it for a reason. Believe me, no person can just wake up and go and break somebody's heart. Of course, now heart is precious. Even plates, we cannot throw it anyhow. How will I just wake up and break your heart? There must be reason why I break your heart or why I broke your heart. You understand? That reason is best known to me. And now I'm trying to tell you the reason, what you can use before the court. If they try to try you, if the court try to try you because you refuse to marry that person, or if that your beloved take you to the court and then is arguing and telling the court, in fact bringing everything people have discussed in the private to the whole wide world to see, there is something you can raise there as your defense, as your showcase, as your now Tower of Babylon. If you rely on those things, the court can examine it and it becomes your defense. Now the first defense, as provided in the matrimonial cause. Of course, we know the matrimonial cause is what guards marital life. In as much as everything we have been saying has been revolving around the provisions of the common law, judicial precedent, case law, there is also some enactment like section 197 we pointed out earlier before on the Evidence Act. Now we consider another section in Matrimonial Causes Act that can be your valid ground of defense. The Matrimonial Causes Act, by virtue of section 3 sub 1 paragraph A to E, provided instances where a marriage will be rendered void or treated as never existed ab initio. So those provisions stated some certain things that can render a promise, not just a marriage, void. I'm trying to give you now some conditions upon which you can actually resist that marriage or justify your refusals to marry. That is what I'm trying to say. Number one on that list is mispresentation. If there is a deceit, if the defendant can provide any element of duress before entering such agreement, he would not be bound by such marriage contract. For instance, where a mispresentation like ages or place of origin or one's paternity or maternity when discovered by the other party may serve as a defense for refusal to marry. Even undergoing surgery that radically changes your appearance or uses excessive makeup to cover a bodily scared face and lot more could constitute some defense that avail the defendant. Now, for defense you can use as your valid defense on the point of law is deceit and mispresentation. If you, the defendant, that is Nkechi, that is listening to me, can provide any element of duress before entering such a contract, you would not be bound by that marriage contract. For instance, if there was a mispresentation as to the age, there are some men, they will not marry when their mates are doing so. Then when they are about 58 or 59, they will go and look for a girl that is 70 years. And then you go and tell the girl that he's just a baby, he's just a 25 years old man, you understand? And now you that is watching me, you that is Nkechi, that is watching this video, you then discover that this very man is now 55 years old. In fact, he's celebrating his birthday with your dad. Imagine. How can this man marry me? I will not allow this to happen. If you refuse this on that ground, I am with you. Nothing is going. In fact, they try you, call my phone. I'm going to represent you. It's not just wear my suit. I will just make sure you call me when my suit is iron. I'm going to represent you on that. Because in this case, the promise, you are not just running away from the marriage. You are running for your life. How can you 50-something? In fact, the person is celebrating an birthday with your dad. He's dragging 55 years old with your daddy. And the person wants to marry you. Who does that? Who does that? No, now you can refuse on that ground, and if you refuse on that ground, nothing is going to happen to you. I'm with you on that matter, and we argue it out. Second thing, as regards to mispresentation and deceit, we just pointed out is excessive makeup. Yes, excessive makeup. If I wanted to marry you and saw your face, you were beautiful. I woke up, I said, oh, this is my flesh, this is my bone, this is everything. In fact, this is my teeth. I want to marry you, and I saw you Where you were in fact, when I saw you, I proposed to you, you just woke up from bed. It was in the morning, no artificial coloring. And I liked you, I loved you. In fact, I keep loving you. I am in love with you. And now you went ahead to paint your face, to design your face in such a manner that is very, very, what will I say now? In such a manner that is scary. And I see you, please, I cannot continue with this marriage. Yes, I will not marry again. Your face is not what I ordered for. In fact, this Jumia product is null and void. This was not what I ordered. I ordered for black. You gave me yellow Fanta. I'm not marrying again. Then it's a defense. Because you artificially altered your face to a reasonable extent that the man cannot recognize you again. And you expect the man to marry another witch. Remember, in law, where if you are married, you are married though. Or like if without divorce, if you marry, you commit offense of bigamy. In fact, if you want to see the provisions of the law, go and see my very video on bigamy. Bigamy is another thing to look out for. If bigamy, a man is not, if you are validly married to a particular girl, you doesn't have right to go and be marrying up and down. If it was a white collar wedding, that is not our major discussion. But if you want to see that video, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, because we have a lot of videos like this coming your way where you will be learning. So a man is not permitted to marry as many wives as he wish. That is another story of its own. And now I'm trying to tell you that because I'm scared I'm marrying another thing that I didn't order for, your face has been altered with makeup. Or when they were doing the makeup, they mistakenly blind you. In fact, you have become blind. I wanted to say deaf and dumb. You are now a blind girl because you wanted to apply artificial makeup, artificial this thing, artificial umbrella in your eyes, and you have altered your face, you have altered your eyes, and you want me to marry you, me Kingsley marry. I will not marry you, because that was not the I ordered for Obono. You are trying to give me Ofola. It's not easy. I'm not going to accept it. That is a defense. I can raise this thing and no court will hear, the court will hear me out because I ordered for beans and they are presenting plantain to me. It's not possible. Another valid defense you can raise now is infidelity. Yes, you can raise the defense of infidelity. Infidelity, proper Fidelity Bank. I'm not talking about Fidelity Bank. I'm trying to say that infidelity here, you are going to show that your boyfriend, your girlfriend is moving up and down. He's moving in a way that is not very pure on the point, both in the spiritual realm and the physical realm. If you can show the court that this man has been cheating on me, this woman has been cheating on me, but you have to prove it too. Remember, section 131 of Evidence Act, as well as section 136 of the Evidence Act, all of them says that whoever wants the court, whoever asserts, whoever wants the court to rely on a particular thing and give judgment in his favor or her favor must prove that those facts exist. That is why in law we deal, in fact, if you want to know the people that say the truth, it is the lawyers. We deal with fact and figure. We deal with did you see, not I heard it, I felt it. Who are you and who is feeling who? You have to see that standing on top of another. Not only that, you can also show substantial evidences. You can also show substantial evidence that can say or that can showcase that actually there was something fishy with this man. This man is not pure. This man's way of life is not good at all. He's cheating on me. Because he's cheating on me, I cannot marry with a cheater because I want a lion, not a cheater. That is what you can prove to the court. It becomes your defense. Third element. Now let us consider before I go there, have you subscribed? Please subscribe to this King's Advocate Network, I beg you, because we are ready to bring the knowledge of law to the core. We are doing this to create awareness. We are breaking this law in such a way that it becomes accessible to all. Subscribe, because more video is coming your way. Tomorrow I can even tell you what you can do to do this or do that. That's why I encourage you. Subscribe. Have you done so? Thank you and God bless you. Next defense you can raise, that you can validly raise now, is the defense of health condition. Yes. If the man fake his HIV results, he was HIV positive, and then he fake it to become negative, and you discover, you can stand on that and say, I'm not doing it again. I have called it a day. Yes, I'm not marrying you again. Go your way. You can stand and nobody will disturb you. In fact, if anybody disturb you, alert me. I will wear my suit. We go and argue it out. All these are the defense you can successfully raise to tell the court that This, so actually, I'm resisting this marriage not because I want to, but because of the circumstances that surround this case. This man is HIV positive. This man is a cheater. This man keep cheating on me. This man is not what I thought of him to be. Look at this thing. If you can prove it, all these things are evidence. It depends on your lawyer. Your lawyer is very important. Your lawyer can do all these things. I'm trying to tell you this because every day we have this matter going on in the court. Don't think that because people are, you see people break it, just because we are in a nation where things doesn't work the right way. All these things we are accusing village people, they are not the cause of the problem. A boyfriend will cheat on you. A boyfriend will refuse to marry you. A boyfriend you have been waiting throughout your life. A boyfriend that you sponsored to go to UK or you sponsored to go to Germany, in fact Cameroon. The boyfriend has returned back and said that you are too old. You are too dirty. I can't marry you again. And then instead of you going to the court, you go and be looking for pastor that will pastor the prayer, that will pastor the man's heart so that he will change. Or you go and looking for advices here and there so that they will go and turn the man's eye, they will take the man's brain and he will come back and marry you. If any day that charm, or if I don't even know whether that charm can work it, but any day that kind of, I don't know if it's possible that you have put on that man and the man has turned and started to love you when he was against you. Any day that thing ends, that is the day your relationship ends. Instead of doing all these charms, just simply meet a lawyer. He will just argue your case and you collect your damages and go. Let us not attribute everything to spirit. Let us attribute something to legal faith. That is the essence of this video. I want to create awareness. I want to put the society in another motion. In another notion of exposure. Not just everything you link it up to village people. Village people is not there. That person has refused to marry you. Take him to court. Take her to court. I will still do not cost you anything. This is not, and most of people will be like, well, if you go to court, they will bribe the court. Let me tell you, bribery is not obtainable in a petty case like this. If you want to see where bribery is, go and consider to general election. That is where you are going to obtain bribery and corruption. That is in real case, electoral matters. That is where you see money exchanging hands. Not this you and your Stanley, Nkechi and Stanley, Okeke and Choma, Taiwo and Akiyemi. All these things are petty case. What will you give to the judge? Can you even pay me as a lawyer to argue your case? Talk more of bribing a judge who has been in seat of power for many years, decades, and you are giving him peanut 5,000. Will 5,000 buy fuel a liter? That is it. So you cannot have your way on bribing and corruption with all these petty cases. You can go to the court. The court will apply justice to your case and you go your way. It's only when you involve electoral matter. I'll just say you hand it over to God. I think anything that has to do with electoral matter, give it over to God or don't go to court because things are not right. Yeah, they are not right. But at this point, that is what the law say. I believe you have learned a lot in this video. Please, the essence of doing this, we are breaking the law to the understanding of all. That is what this channel stands about. This channel stands for a situation whereby that massive law will be simplified. Our logo, our stand is law made simple. Subscribe to this channel because I have more video like this coming. Believe me, every day we are going to be seeing a post, we are going to be seeing a video on this channel that will amaze you. We are just starting. More videos coming your way. Thank you and remain blessed as you join King's Advocate in our journey towards uncovering the law and making law accessible to the understanding of that common man in the street. Remain blessed.